Okay, so my buddy here, Troy, busted out his reverse gear on his 2014 1000, so he's going to make it so it does not happen again. And this is what parts we got. We are doing the ACE 325 gear reduction. You know, this is what I just did in the last video, what I did in another video, so the gear reduction is pretty straightforward. But this is kind of a new product out by BioHazard ATV. They call it the Super Single Reverse Chain. And that's it. I mean, the sucker's wide. I'll get a little video here in a second with this one compared to stock. It is their whole double setup. I guess instead of having the two double chains, they're just using the big super single one. So the new output shaft, the new gear, and then he also got the better retaining plate for the snorkel gear. So compare all this stuff here in a minute. Well, that one came out pretty easy. So, looks like this whole thing's cased with antices, but that's milky. Alright, let's see if we can find this chain. Alright, well this is a little different, but there's his chain right there. So, I think that's the problem. Luckily, when it fell, it didn't crack his case or anything. All of his gears so far look all good, but that's his reverse chain that would go up to that one. So I think we're gonna be fine. Okay, so we got the transmission all taken apart. All the gears are about ready to get pulled out. The bearings, case down there. Troy's over there cleaning his case on that side. So we'll start just by disassembling again. Okay, and this is the difference between the stock chain and the super single. As you can tell, it is quite a bit. I mean, it's more so than probably double. So that right there is lined up. So that is the difference in width. So you're gaining what, probably 2.5 or 2.25 or so of stock chain. It's all single, so that is the difference. And of course, on your gear here, this gear is just made for one chain, and then that's your difference. Anyways. Alright, so we got his old gear pulled off for the reduction, and the new one going on. And there's part of your gear reduction. And just so you guys know, this is the difference between the Highlifter 1000 without any kind of gear reduction. That's what comes in most of them other than the Highlifter, and the ACE gear. So it's quite a bit bigger. And lined up in the splines. There's your difference. Okay, and this is the difference between the two snorkel plate bearing retainers. That's the stock one, obviously. That's the new one. And they do come with new bolts and everything. And the difference between the input shafts from your secondary, as you can see, just one more set of teeth on here. And there's the difference between the RZR 1000 and the ACE gear, as far as the smaller gear for your reduction. And the difference between the bigger reverse gears. I'm pretty sure I showed this already, but there they are side by side. We're on with the new chain here. Just sets down into place. Your collars are going to be facing out. It's huge. Okay, so just as a tip, also install all this together. Take off this gear, or before you put the gear on, put this chain onto this shaft and to this gear, and then slide it onto this shaft all as one piece, and everything will sit down in there fine. But that is that gear with the bigger reverse chain, the super single. Okay, so this is the new thicker retaining plate, and now hopefully it's not all of them, but on this one though, these two bolts over here were uncentered. It just varies slightly, but both of these have resistance on them, and these went in fine. So we had to back out the longer one here and then just kind of walk them all the way around. And I mean, it's just not as easy as the other one was, but no, I don't know what you want to say about that. So maybe it was a fluke, or one of the, maybe it was made on today on a Friday, so we'll see. But it did go in fine. Everything is now torqued. These are all torqued to 10 foot, so there's a new setup. Alright, so we got everything put back in. The new chains on there. There's gear reduction down here. Now the clearance, I don't know if you can see that, but the clearance is not much, but it does not hit. It's got just enough. I don't even know we're in what. Man, I could watch that all day. Sucker's not gonna break. Alright, so we got the shift forks in and the shift drum, and we're about to put on the Yama bond and seal it up, but it is all ready to go. Cases are all on, everything, all the bolts, case bolts are torqued to 20 foot-pounds. And we'll put on our star. Alright, so there's the final product on transmission number 2 for the week. All done, put back together. All your stuff's torqued, put together, ready to go in tomorrow. See how it does.